So, chat, before we get into this next topic, I want to crack open a cold one real quick. This topic does revolve around beer, so I thought it would only be the appropriate time to crack open a fresh one. Got myself a nice ice cold Bud Ice here, which is my personal preference when it comes to beer. I know a lot of people will call it trash like hood beer, but this is like the champagne of the ghetto, okay? So this is the good shit. This is my personal preference. Let me take a little sippy sip of this. Very, very good. Very, very good. But this just felt like the right topic to crack open a nice cold one, if you know what I'm talking about. So yesterday, I believe it was yesterday, that I saw this topic cross my timeline, and I just thought it was like the dumbest thing for people to get outraged about. So I really, really, really wanted to talk about it. We have this tweet here by Ollie London. They tweet out the following. Dylan Mulvaney, I hope I'm pronouncing that name wrong. I apologize if I didn't get that name right. I hope I'm getting that name right. Dylan Mulvaney has become the new brand ambassador for Bud Light. The beer brand even made a special edition Dylan Mulvaney can celebrating his 365 days of girlhood. This is not April Fool's. It's actually real. Which, by the way, has this been confirmed as like a real thing? Because last time I checked, it hadn't quite been confirmed yet. Although I did pull up an article that seems to suggest it's real. We'll get into that article in a second. But I wasn't sure if this was like real or not at the start. But either way, I just thought that this was a silly thing to get upset about. Let's go ahead. Let's take a look at the video that they link here in the video. So without further ado,
play that shit!
Here we go.
Hi. Impressive carrying skills, right? I got some Bud Lights for us. So, I kept hearing about this thing called March Madness, and I thought we were all just having a heck...
So, like, it may not be Bud Light, but I did have to crack open a Bud of my own for this occasion. Cheers. Okay.
...month, but...
By the way, that freeze frame was really scary, wasn't it?
Turns out it has something to do with sports. And I'm not sure exactly which sport, but either way, it's a cause to celebrate. This month, I celebrated my day 365 of womanhood, and Bud Light sent me possibly the best gift ever, a can with my face on it. Check out my Instagram.
So, it's not a can that they're mass producing. They made a can specifically for her. She says it's on her Instagram. Let me go ahead and pull up that Instagram to see if we could actually find that picture. 1 second. Because I seen people acting like this was going to be like a mass-produced can. And from what I'm gathering, this is just a can that was produced exclusively for them. Right? Let me see if I could find the picture of this can on their Instagram. Let's see. They mentioned that it's on their Instagram. I'm not seeing it, but I'm not logged into Instagram either. So anyway, so yeah, this is just like a one-off can produced just for them, apparently.
With my face on it. Check out my Instagram story to see how you can enjoy March.
Oh, it was on the story. Okay, yeah, that story's long gone now.
March Madness with Bud Light and maybe win some money too. Love ya! Cheers! Go team! Whatever team you love, I love too.
Oh, I'm the same way. I'm not into sports. Everybody knows in my like chat that I'm not a sports person. I've never been a sports person. Well, I can't say that. There was a time, like a brief period of time, where I was really into basketball. But that's about it. Which is funny because I'm surrounded by people in this house that love like football. I'm the only one, including my wife. My wife loves football. I do not. I just don't. I never really got interested in sports. I mean, look at my fat ass. You think a fat guy like me is interested in sports? Definitely not. But, yeah.
Okay. Love ya. Okay. Break a leg.
Okay, so people were big outraged on social media about the fact that the next Bud Light brand ambassador was this Dylan Mulvaney person, right? And I looked at this and I was like, okay, this is like really fucking stupid. I don't see what the outrage is. I especially thought it was kind of weird that Ollie London was one of the people complaining about this. Isn't Ollie London the person that tried to like do that whole like transracial shit? Weren't they trying to like make themselves Korean and be transracial or something? I'm pretty sure that's a thing, right? Let me see if I could bring up the clip of that. I'm pretty sure that was them, right? Yes. Check this out. So Ollie London, the transracial person, is upset about a trans person being the brand ambassador for Bud Light.
Hey guys, I
Who
just want to
remembers
take
this
this
shit?
chance to, come out today.
Who the fuck remembers
Something
this?
that's been like on my mind for a long time, and I've been very confused about how I identify. I've been very, very confused, and I've seen a lot of other people online that have come out and been very brave about it and shared their story about how they identify, their gender, their pronouns, etc. So, I've taken courage from these incredibly brave people, and it is Pride Month at the moment, so I thought this was the best time to do it. And add a voice, add strength to the LGBTQ plus I community. So I am going to come out today and say that I've been transitioning. I've been very unhappy with who I am deep down for the last 8 years, and I've had like 18 plastic surgeries now, and I've just had a facelift, a brow lift, a temple lift, an eye set.
Yeah, they were like trying to like make themselves look Korean. They were like really into like K-pop stars and shit like that, and so they were coming out as transracial, transitioning to Korean.
Surgery, a canthoplasty, and my teeth done as well. These are just part of my transition. And I'm feeling really good. For the first time in my life, I feel beautiful. I'm looking in the mirror and I love the way I look.
So how do you get from this, trying to push transracialism as a thing, to this, getting mad about a trans woman being the brand ambassador of Bud Light? I don't know. It just seems really weird to go from there to here. Yet here we are. This is the thing. Let me go ahead and take a look at another tweet that I brought up here. Here's another tweet about the situation. Dylan Mulvaney is the new face of Bud Light. I guess Bud Light doesn't know their customer base. And then they show a video here of this. Let's take a look.
The estimated hold time is now less than 96 minutes.
Bro, that's the Cisco hold music. I can't stand that music because I have to hear it all fucking day at work. It's so annoying. Starlight Horror in the chat says, I think Ollie is extremely conservative now. You think? You think? Here's the thing, like, I'm not even like a super political person. Like, obviously I have like my own political views like anyone else, right? But like, unlike most people on social media nowadays where like their politics is very much tied to their like identity and who they are, I'm not one of those people. Like my politics is an afterthought for me. So even as somebody who's not like super fucking political, like I can look at this and be like, no shit, dog. You don't fucking say. You know, one thing I'm going to say is the fact that, like, they're so upset about the fact that she's the brand ambassador for Bud Light. What they really should be upset about is the fact that she would waste her time on drinking such swill. I say that as I drink literally the bottom of the barrel version of Bud. It's so good, though. It's so good. Didn't I just say I hated that music and now I'm dancing to it? Oh my god.
We thank you for your patience.
Sorry.
See, this is why it was hard to tell whether or not that this was like an April Fool's joke or not.
Are you still there?
Yes.
Okay, please hold.
Okay, so there's the clip they attached. They also responded to this with hashtag boycott Bud Light, hashtag boycott Budweiser. And again, I look at this and I'm like, okay, like, it's one thing if you're like, okay, you're not a fan of Dylan Mulvaney. I see several people in the chat saying a lot of people are not fans of Dylan Mulvaney, which that's fine. You know, you don't have to be a fan of the person, right? But to make a big deal because a trans person is the brand ambassador for Bud Light, like to the point where you're like boycott the company. is it really that big of a fucking deal? Honestly, like, it's not like it's going to change the flavor and the taste of the beer. The beer's still going to taste like trash, all right? Bud Light always has and always will taste like trash. It's basically water with a little bit of alcohol put into it. Like, it's shit tier beer, all right? It's the thing that you buy when you need more beer for your party, but you're like really tight with money at the moment. So you're like, well, we got to get more beer, but Bud Light, it's going to have to do. Yeah, it's like really nasty shit. So if you happen to be a fan of Bud Light, it's not going to change the way the beer tastes just because a trans person is the brand ambassador for it. I think the best way to put it is the way I put it on Twitter when I first found out about this. I said, this is likely an April Fool's joke, because again, at the time, I wasn't really sure if this was confirmed or not. But even if it's not, the responses to this tweet be wildin'. Imagine getting this triggered when you find out trans people drink beer too. Which, yes, that was one of the things that, like, what was that previous tweet? I guess Bud Light doesn't know their customer base. Here's a shocking thing to you. A lot of the same products you guys consume, trans people consume them too. Whether it's beer, whether it's Pepsi, whether it's Coke, whether it's McDonald's cheeseburgers, whatever the fuck the case may be, yes, trans people consume the same products you do. I know it's shocking to think about, but it's actually fucking true. I want to take a look at this Newsweek article that kind of goes into the situation as well. Bud Light faces boycott over Dylan Mulvaney partnership. Never drink it. I would argue that because it tastes like shit, as somebody who's a bit of a beer connoisseur myself, I would say that you should never drink it to begin with. Me personally, because like I said, Bud Light tastes kind of nasty. But having said that, just to react this way over this, it's the whole thing seems bizarre to me, if I'm being completely honest. So let's go ahead and let's dive into this. Take a look. Bud Light is facing a boycott after partnering with transgender influencer and activist Dylan Mulvaney. On Sunday, Mulvaney posted a video to her 1.7 million Instagram followers in which she explained that Bud Light had sent her a personalized can with her face on it to commemorate 365 days of being a girl. Mulvaney's Day 365 of Girlhood video series has been a viral success and has charted her first year of transitioning. Okay, whatever. No big deal. However, the partnership has drawn condemnation from some social media users, prompting calls for a boycott. Bud Light, which is owned by Anheuser-Busch, is not the first brand to face calls for people to stop using over its partnership with transgender activists. Is this really a thing that people are upset about? Is this really a thing that people are upset about? Because beer companies are partnering with transgender people, or like brands in general are partnering with transgender people. People are getting like super outraged about this. Like, this just seems silly to me. I'm sorry, it just does. Chocolate makers Hershey has also faced similar response to an advertising campaign in February after including a transgender rights activist face on a special chocolate bar wrapper in Canada for International Women's Day. The row over transgender brand ambassadors is symbolic of a wider debate about the inclusion of transgender women in female issues and spaces. Some say transgender women should be treated the same as other women, while others claim they are different and wish to protect hard-won women's rights. This month, I celebrated by day 365 of womanhood, and Bud Light sent me possibly the best gift ever, a can with my face on it, Mulvaney told social media followers before referencing a promotion with the beer brand detailed on her profile. In another video, which was shot in a bathtub, Mulvaney appears to be stuck on hold on a telephone while near a stack of Bud Light beers. She proceeds to open one while waiting before dancing in the bath to the hold music. The transgender rights is an issue that is proving deeply polarizing. A survey by the Pew Research Center last year found that 38% of Americans believe society had gone too far in accepting transgender people, while 36% said it had not gone far enough. Boycott Bud Light and never drink it again, ever, tweeted Mike Crispy, a podcast host and former Republican New Jersey primary candidate for Congress. The good news is that Bud Light tastes like rainwater that someone siphoned out of a tin bucket, so it should be very easy to boycott. Now, I will say this. I think that's the best description of Bud Light I have ever seen. Like, no cap. Bud Light is just, it's so bad. Like, I'll never understand why anyone drinks it. The only time I will drink Bud Light is if it's the only thing in the ice cooler at the party that I'm going to. Like, literally, that is the only time I will drink that shit. If I'm choosing to consume an alcoholic beverage, I'm choosing something that, in my opinion, tastes a little bit better. Even though today, like I said, I'm literally going for the cheapest fucking Bud like product you could fucking get. Like, no cap. Still tastes better than Bud Light, though. No joke. I'm not even joking. Matt Walsh, a conservative commentator, tweeted on Sunday, I have never wanted to drink less than this. Robbie Starbuck, a GOP congressional primary candidate in Tennessee, said. He then added, message to conservative families from Bud Light seems to be, we will encourage and even celebrate the erasure of men and women along with all the values you care about. They've gone totally woke. Will you ever spend your money on them now? And I just got to be honest. I don't see what the big deal. I really don't see what the big deal of this is. Like, people seem so outraged at the thought that, like, trans people exist. And I just don't get it because I'm like, I don't know. I was raised to treat people like people, you know? That's just the way I was raised. So, like, I genuinely don't see what the problem is. I don't know. Maybe I'm the idiot here, but I don't know. Meanwhile, Brian Black, who describes himself as a U.S. Air Force veteran, posted a video of himself on Sunday pouring a can of Bud Light down the kitchen sink with the hashtag boycott Bud Light. I mean, down the kitchen drain is exactly where Bud Light belongs. He did himself a favor. Not because they have a, trans brand ambassador, just because their beer sucks. Such a shame, Bud Light. Not getting any my money anymore. Hashtag boycott. Jeez, I can't even speak today. Hashtag boycott Bud Light. Hashtag go woke, go broke Bud Light.
Thanks for the money, okay. You fucking simp.
Thank you.
Tommy Wiseau donated $1.99. Tips. Do you only wear the color blue?
No, but it's definitely a preference of mine. Okay, Newsweek, geez, I can't talk today, holy crap. Newsweek reached out to Mulvaney's representative via email for comment on Monday. Meanwhile, other social media users questioned the corporate thinking that had led to the partnership. Ada Lutch, a self-described anti-woke beauty consultant, said on Twitter that Bud Light caters to men and the partnership would be a huge turnoff. Why? Lots of people drink beer, not just men. That I don't understand this. Jaime Mitchell, I think that's how you pronounce that, founder of the anti-LGBT organization Gays Against Groomers, oh God, tweeted that Bud Light either doesn't know their customers or they do and they just don't give a shit. I'm guessing the latter. What a disgrace. A spokesperson for Anheuser-Busch told Newsweek on Monday that the company works with hundreds of influencers across our brands as one of many ways to authentically connect with audiences across various demographics. From time to time, we produce unique commemorative cans for fans and for brand influencers like Dylan Mulvaney. So basically they're saying Dylan Mulvaney isn't the only person that they've done this for. Like, they've done this for other people as well. The spokesperson added that the commemorative can, quote, was a gift to celebrate a personal milestone and is not for sale for the general public. So again, people acting like that this is like, oh my God, next time I drink Bud Light, I'm going to have to stare at Dylan Mulvaney's face. No, you're not. It's a personalized can just for them. Mulvaney, who began tracking her transition on TikTok, has since earned 10 million followers, has partnered with several companies, including fashion brand Kate Spade. In October, she interviewed President Joe Biden on transgender rights at the White House, and on March 13th was sent a letter from Vice President Kamala Harris celebrating a year of being a trans woman, telling Mulvaney, you continue to break barriers and inspire young people across our nation and around the world. In response to the calls for the boycott of the brand, thank you.
Ghosty donated $4.99. I guarantee if this was Blair, white people wouldn't be complaining.
Probably.
Despite me not like Dylan. This whole boycott is dumb in my opinion.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, the funny thing is if you look at the opposite side of the political spectrum, this reminds me a lot of the boycott against Hogwarts Legacy, right? Because the Hogwarts Legacy thing was like really stupid too, right? At the end of the day, it's just a really good game. And when you boycott Hogwarts Legacy, who really suffers at the end of the day? The rich woman who's already made millions of dollars off of her, ownership of the Harry Potter license? No, she's already got millions of dollars. Who really suffered in that boycott, if that boycott was successful, would be the developers that worked many years very hard in order to create that game, right? That was a stupid boycott, and so is this one. You know what I mean? Anyway, in response to calls for the boycott of the brand, some Twitter users noted that Bud Light had been partnered with LGBT Pride for over 20 years, while others pointed out that other major beer brands had also pledged to support the LGBTQ plus community. Good luck finding another beer, wrote Ed Krossenstein, I hope I pronounced that right, on a social media personality. The problem for them is that virtually every major beer company have multiple programs that also support the LGBTQ plus communities. LGBTQ plus support isn't the problem. Bigotry is the problem. So that's kind of like this topic here. Like I said, I think this is like really stupid to get this outraged over something. I just don't understand it. Like, my view on trans people is that trans people are people and that they should be treated like people, That's kind of the way I look at it. So when I see, a popular beer company using a trans person as a brand ambassador, I don't care. Like, at the end of the day, I'm just like, okay, like, I'm just here to drink a beer, right? I don't give a fuck who's promoting said beer. If the beer tastes good, I'll drink it. Like I've said a dozen times during the course of this video or this stream, I don't intend to drink Bud Light because I don't like Bud Light. But do I have a problem with Bud Light because they have a trans brand ambassador? No. I have a problem with Bud Light because they make shit beer, all right? Or like that sub-brand of Budweiser is shit beer, right? That's kind of the way I feel about it. But overall, I think the outrage over this is insanely stupid. And I think a lot of people are really like letting the mask slip on like who they really are and how they really feel towards the LGBTQ plus community. I think there's a lot of bigotry that people are like literally starting to let show now. Like, they're not even making an attempt to hide it anymore. Usually they would make these little slide comics and remarks that you can kind of like see slip under the radar and people wouldn't interpret that way. But it really is starting to get to the point where they're not even hiding it anymore. They're just being like outright like upfront with who they are. And it's really interesting to see this play out on social media.